All right, folks, welcome to a new episode of For the City podcast. This is strictly YouTube content. I am your host, Francisco, and my co-host, Chefboy. How we doing today, Chefboy?
Man, I would be doing better, man. I would be doing better.
Yeah,
But
you're not lying. So we have a lot to unpack. Monday morning quarterbacks are done. Everybody, all the pundits, this made their opinions known and everything that was said out there. A lot of good things said about the Browns and where they're at and where they're headed. You know, a lot of people said just take it on the chin and just move on. There were some mistakes made in that game, and then my Giants. That's a whole another avenue that we'll get into here in a second here. So let's break it down. Browns lost 29-33. I called the game as 30-33, if you remember. So essentially, I pretty much got the score right, except it went the other way. It
yeah,
didn't go the other way that it wanted to go. So tell me how you feel about that.
well, I mean, I guess like I said, there's no moral victories in football. I mean, you essentially the game played out the way that I expected it to play out. It was basically you know, three big plays, man. Three big plays to find that game. Otherwise, I mean, the game plan was perfect. It was like I said, we had long drives, controlled the ball, running the ball like I expected us to do. We did get pressure. The only problem was when we got pressure, Mahomes was just able to make plays, man. He extended plays. They got him off his spot. They got him out of the pocket, but our defenders couldn't stay with, their receivers long enough, and it was just a little too much, man. Like I said, you got to play a perfect game when you play the defending Super Bowl, not Super Bowl champs, but
Runner up.
probably runner up, probably the best offense in the NFL. You just can't give them extra plays and things like that. So, three big mistakes, man. That fumble, that botched punt, and then that interception at the end of the game, man. So any one of those three plays, man, you take away, it's probably a different score. And
Yeah, but see,
so,
I really can't use it as an excuse for you guys because Garrett gave the ball right back to you guys when he had that sack. So he
yeah.
gave you guys an opportunity to down us. You had enough time. You had
Oh, yeah.
you had 2 minutes, basically a 2 minute drill to get that ball down the field and
Mhm.
score. And Baker, being Baker, and I love Baker. Don't get me wrong. I think he's a good quarterback. But you're in year what? Year 4.
Year 4, yeah.
You can't be making those mistakes. You need to you either throw it out of bounds or take that sack. Either
Yeah.
one.
You ask him to a man, I'll guarantee, like he'll probably tell you he was trying to make a play. He was trying to do a hero ball. He was trying to squeeze it in a window. I mean, you could say he was trying to throw it away. From my vantage point, if he really was trying to throw it away, he could have threw it away about 3 seconds earlier. He was basically, in the play, and he was trying to make a play. And the fact that he didn't think it was smart, I mean, he wasn't
He threw in the double
poised enough.
coverage.
Yeah,
But he threw in the double coverage. He should have known better. You know what I mean? You
yeah,
can't as a fourth year court, you can't make those mistakes, man. That's not how you proven you're a superstar quarterback. Throw that ball away. Take the sack. You still would have had 2 more attempts to get the ball down the field. Because I believe it was second down, correct?
I thought they had just got the first. I mean, it might have been second down. I can't remember off the top of
But
my
he
head. I
still
know it
would
was
have had
early. It was early.
it was early, and he
drive,
still
yeah.
would have had opportunities to get the ball down the field. But he got happy feet. You know what I mean? He should have just thrown the ball away, taking the sack. I understand why he wouldn't want to take a sack, but throw the ball away. There's no reason for you to throw in a double coverage. I saw that pick coming a mile away. The minute he left that ball left his hands, I knew game was over.
Yeah. And if, like I said, the frustrating thing is we have to listen to, as Cleveland fans, we have to listen to it for an entire week. If it's the same old thing, same old Browns, Baker ain't got it, this and that. But then, this is a little tangent that it's not the Browns per se, but then I go, okay, well, what about Lamar Jackson? You see that Monday night game?
Oh yeah,
They got a chance to win the game.
Yeah, they got
and
a
your
chance to
boy
win the game. Yeah,
fumbles the ball away in their side of the field. Now, if I don't hear people calling in talking about Lamar blew it, Lamar shouldn't have fumbled the ball right there. So, I mean, like I said, it's a double standard. The dude's never going to win. His attitude, his personality, he's always going to be a target. So, like I said, he's going to take it on the chin. And, I think this week is going to wash all that away.
You already know what it is. People are gonna say Cleveland going Cleveland. That's what it comes down to. But I don't think so, man. I think their defense showed that they can stop stop Mahomes. The problem was the defense was on the field way too long and they got tired out. You know what I mean? But Garrett came out with a big play, in the fourth quarter to get the ball back for you guys. And I thought, man, that was the opening you guys needed to go down the field and score a touchdown to win the game, but it just didn't happen, man.
Just those quick strikes, man. You can't a one play touchdown drive, a botched fumble to give them the ball on that side of the field. I mean, there was just those two things you can't do. You can't give one of the most prolific offenses in the NFL 2 easy touchdown drives in less than 2 minutes. Like they literally scored 2 touchdowns, I think, in like 2.5 minutes or something like that.
Yeah.
They said. So that's the only that one little part of the game. And like I said, there was. I guess I don't want to keep going on about different factors. We know what it was. We lost our starting safety 5 plays into the game on some BS call. I'm bullshit, straight up bullshit call. And the coach didn't get reprimanded. I mean, it was clearly a mistake. He wasn't trying to step on a guy. And then our other safety, third quarter started. He started getting cramps. I mean, obviously running around the field chasing Tariq Hill all day. So we were missing 2 of our starting safeties in the second half. There's a lot of excuses, like I said, but it all boils down to we had the ball. We had a chance to win with 2 minutes left. They didn't get the job done, man. So it didn't play out the way I expected it, but the game plan was perfect. I mean, because Stefanski did a perfect job, man. I think that was you can't blame the coach at all for that one. That was a magnificent game call.
So my thing is, if it's like second half, even before the second half started, you saw the momentum trying to shift a little bit. So Stefanski needs to make those adjustments at halftime, man. He's got to make those adjustments at halftime.
I don't think there was anything to adjust. We were up 22-10 or something like that going into the half. And then they got the ball. They came down. They drove. They scored. We answered. We came back. We scored. So really the issue was the one play drive. They get the ball back on one play that should have been – it should have been a sack. Like I said, we were getting pressure. The frustrating thing was we were getting pressure. Like they credited Garrett with like 8 pressures and 1 sack. The problem was, like I said, Mahomes is a freak, man. I mean, no other quarterback backing up, rolling out, throws it 50 yards down the field and some fluky Hail Mary to Tariq Hill. So, I mean, that stuff you can't game plan against, you can't account for. And I mean, the only thing that was frustrating, and I did kind of nitpick this with somebody my boy, the one I said I think would make a difference, JOK, wasn't on the field enough, man. They had this dude, Malcolm Smith, in there, this linebacker who's 40 years old. I mean, was not 40, but he's the oldest linebacker out there, and they got him guarding Kelsey. Like, what are you doing? You got this young, athletic, fast linebacker, and you got him sitting on the bench when you got Travis Kelsey out. It made no sense to me whatsoever. So if I'm going to nitpick anything as far as coaching, that was to me the biggest mistake right there. Like, there's no way he should have been guarding him.
So you guys have at least a week to prepare for your next game. Now shifting gears to my squad don't have a week. We have a Thursday night game against Washington. Okay.
Yeah.
So that game was an absolute train wreck. We talked about it. Giants can't score. They just can't. And then they need to change Danny dimes to Danny fumbles because he can't hold on to the ball, man. He just can't. You know what I mean? Our running game was nowhere to be found. You know what I mean? Barkley only had 10 carries for 26 yards. Jones had 6 carries for 27 yards. We had no run game at all that game. Jones threw a touchdown early in the game to Shepard. The longest one of the day was, 37 yards. Shepard had 113 yards for the game, but the offense is non-existent there, man. And this guy, I don't know what it is. I don't know if he's lacking confidence. It reminds me of Eli. Remember the last couple of years of Eli's career? In the first and second quarter, he had the offense moving down the field. First, second drive, the first quarter, touchdown. And then after that, boom, it just goes away. I don't even count the last score of the game. That was a give me. Game was over already. So I don't even count Jones running in for the touch. Doesn't mean anything to me. The score wasn't even as close as it looks. They got obliterated in that game. You know what I mean?
It was just I guess we talked about it. I mean, that offensive line, it's tough to overcome that. If you don't have a strong offensive line and then you're running back, maybe Saquon isn't 100% yet.
I don't think he is. I really don't think he's 100%. I don't even think he should have been in there, honestly.
Right.
And I don't think he should be in Thursday night's game. They need to sit him out for this week because it's not enough turnaround time for him to be able to nurse whatever wounds he's got coming back. Because 10 to 10, 26 yards. They have no momentum in the run game. And
sorry, go ahead.
And you're going against one of the best defenses in the NFC, in the Washington Ball Club. I mean, I'm sorry, but the only benefit is that their quarterback went out for the season. So
right.
They might have a chance. They might have a chance, but I'm not guaranteeing it because they made Bridgewater look like Joe Montana that game. You know what I mean? Or John Elway.
There's a lot of things falling into place for the Giants to make another late season run. I think Washington, their QB struggles are real, and like we said, I thought they were probably going to be the division winner or repeat as division winners again, just because I think their defense is really good and they got an okay offense, but now with no quarterback, I mean they're bringing in guys off the street. You know what I'm saying? So that's going to be tough. Dallas again. Dallas can score with anybody, but they can't stop anybody. So I mean, this division is going to still be wide open for a while. They just have to stay. They have to try to keep pace. They got to win games that they can win. This is a winnable game again. I mean, I don't know. Like that defense from Denver was just too much this week. I thought maybe their defense could stifle Denver's offense, which they did for the most part. And then after like the second, third quarter, it just fell apart. You know, you can't keep turning the ball over.
Yeah, but you can't allow Bridgewater to look like John Elway. You can't do it, man. You can't give up 27 points to the Broncos, who their offense is, their offense is not one of the top offenses in the league. Their quarterback is a journeyman. You know what I mean? He's not. I mean, he's a solid backup, but as far as a starting quarterback in the league, and you let the guy abuse you the entire game. I don't know what's going on with Jones. I don't know what's going on with the Giants. I don't like Garrett's offense. I just don't. I don't know what he's doing. I don't know what play. Joe Judge either needs to fire Garrett or he needs to take over the offensive duties himself and try to figure something out, because we got to score more points. You're not gonna win games in the NFL if you can't put points up. Look at the Browns, bro. Browns are averaging what? They're gonna be. I promise you, they'll average 20, 21 points a game this year because of that offense.
We should average more than that. Yeah, I mean,
but you get what I'm saying? On an average, they're going to average at least 3 touchdowns a game, period. Mm-hmm. I don't foresee a game that this year, unless they get locked down against a really, really, really good defense, I don't foresee them scoring less than 3 touchdowns a game. And if their defense can hold, they're probably not going to give up more than 2 touchdowns a game this year.
No, yeah. And I mean, as far as New York, like I said, they have to figure out a way to manufacture points. They got to just, like you said, got to get creative. I don't know if Garrett's going to be the answer long-term or not. It doesn't seem that way. Like I told you before, I don't care for Garrett really as an offensive coach anyways either. So it's tough, man. It's like I said, the only saving grace I would say is I honestly believe that division is wide open. I know me speaking like that with the Browns being at the bottom of the division. It's one game in. It was very disappointing to see. I was happy about the Ravens outcome. But, Cincinnati, I thought they would win. And in Pittsburgh, I mean, like we said, Buffalo might not be for real, man. I mean,
I told you
that one good season.
I told you. I told everybody so high on Buffalo. I told you.
Pittsburgh's defense is legit. But now let that have been the Browns. At home, they like I said, they give us some slack about Kansas City, but look at Buffalo. Buffalo played like crap. Yeah. Pittsburgh looked like crap. They looked terrible, but Ben looked like he should have retired 4 years ago. That dude was just throwing Hail Marys up, and really his only saving grace was a couple pass interference calls. So, I mean, this division to me is ours for the taking. I don't like I said, this 1 week ain't going to define nothing. I think we're going to come in, beat the brakes off of Houston, get that bad taste out our mouth, and then we're going to roll from there.
So speaking of the game, so what are the preparations? What do you think needs to get done again? Because Houston looked pretty good in their game.
Yeah, I like I said, I think that's more or less who they were playing. I think that's more of speaking about Jacksonville than it is really about Houston. I mean, they rushed for like almost 200 yards on them. I mean, their defense is terrible. Their offense is okay just because they got that quarterback and he made some killer plays. He's legit. You know what I'm saying? Lawrence is legit. He's going to be a good quarterback. Unfortunately, he's on a terrible team with no weapons. But I just, like I said, I wouldn't put too much credence into what they did against Jacksonville. I honestly, I mean, I don't even want to think they need to prepare. I think if you asked every Browns player, they probably want to play Houston the next day. They were probably pissed off. They were like, hey, bring Houston on. We'll play them tomorrow, because I think they would have really rolled them. Like, that's how confident like if I had to put a bankroll on this game, I would probably bet the house that this game is going to be a blowout because I think they're coming in.
You really think it's going to be a blowout?
Absolutely. Absolutely. I don't think they got nothing coming on offense for us. I mean, Brandon Cooks looks good, but I think our secondary, like I said, can hang with them. We held Tyreek down pretty much most of the game. Most of his yards came off of that one pass play right there and Kelsey. Those two players were the only ones that burned us. Nobody else on the Chiefs offense did anything. Allaire didn't run for nothing. So they got Mark Ingram. You know, he's there. That's Houston's starting running back. You know, he's not going to rush against us like that, like he did against Jacksonville. I mean, our front four looked good. I think we're going to shut down the run. I think Tyrod is average. We know what we get with Tyrod. So I honestly think it's going to be a blow. I think we're going to come in pissed, and I think we're going to beat the brakes off of them.
So how did Clowney look to you in his first game of the season?
Man, he looked the way like he's been looking other team. I mean, he was getting pressure. He just couldn't close the deal, man. I don't know what it is if he just can't get that extra step at the end to finish it. And, you know, he made some good stops in the run game. I mean, he came as advertised. He stops the run. He's a great run defender. He did get pressure on Mahomes, but he just, you know, he had that one play where he almost chased him down.
Yeah, he almost chased him down in the air. He just missed him on the cut because Mahomes did a cut and just took off. And he wasn't because it should have been a sack for like a 20-yard loss or something like that. If he would have got his hands on him, he just couldn't do it. He was just one step behind him. But can you blame him? Mahomes is one of the fastest quarterbacks in the league.
He's a freak, man. Yeah, you can't really. He's a freak. But no, I think our D line looked really, really good. I know Malik Jackson had that one where he blew up the middle. I mean, I just think we're gonna look. It's so unfair to judge it by that one game. But I think against a lesser offense, you're really going to see what our defense can do. I mean, if we don't get our starting safety ejected in the first 5 plays of the game, I think it's a different defense as well too. So, yeah, man.
So as far as the Giants game and the Giants defense, their defense wasn't bad, man. They gave up that last second touchdown before the half ended in the first half of the game. They were up 7-3, and then once they hit that touchdown to take the lead, the Broncos never looked back after that.
Right.
So their defense held for a while, man. And it's just, but if you can't, like I said, and I told you what was going to happen, didn't I? I told you if the Broncos offense stays on the field, the Giants defense is going to tire out, and the Giants defense tired out. You know what I mean? So you can't keep a defense on the field that long and expect your defense not to get wore out later in the game and expect for it to be effective. And when your offense is not moving the ball, think about that, man. Look how many three and outs they had in that game. I mean, it's ridiculous. You can't do that. You're gonna wear defense out. If it's gonna be like this all year, Giants might go donut. You know what I mean? They might join, I'm sorry to say it, but they might join the likes of the Browns, you know what I'm saying? Who else was it? The Browns? It was
Detroit.
Detroit did it as well. So there's a few teams that I think Tampa Bay at one point did the donut as well. I think back in there when they early franchise.
They were, I don't know if they went 0-16. They may have. I think the old, the sherbet colored jerseys or whatever they had.
Yeah. So I'm worried for his QBR rating in that game was 49. 49. He had 267 yards. What'd that mean though? I mean, it's a lot of junk plays that he was, throwing. A lot of those didn't lead to anything. You know what I mean? The longest throw he had was for 42 yards, and that was to Slayton. And can somebody explain to me why Slayton only had 3 receptions in that game?
I didn't get to watch the game. Like, I was popping in and out. I was mostly watching the Browns game. But, I mean, for the most part, like I said, I don't think their offense is predicated on that. I don't think Garrett is a downfield guy. And, even with Dallas, you know what I'm saying? Like, I just don't see him airing it out like that. So that just my assumption, you know what I'm saying? Maybe that's what it was, that they went away from it. But like you said, Denver could have adjusted and realized, like, hey, we shut this down right here.
But here's my problem, though. You have Galladay only have 4 receptions for 64 yards. You had Slayton with 3 receptions for 65 yards. Shepard was your best receiver. He had 7 receptions for 113 yards. Where was Rudolph? Why didn't you use him? He had 2 receptions in the game for 8 yards. Why were you not utilizing your tight end? Why? I don't understand that. it's not like they were double teaming him the entire game. You understand what I'm saying? Like,
Right.
where's the offense? The ball's not getting spread around like it should. You know what I mean? You're not going for those particular big plays that you should be going to downfield. I don't know if he's gun shy, and I think that's what it is. I think Daniel Jones is a bit gun shy. I think the longer plays frightens him because sometimes he thinks he might throw into into double coverage, or he might throw a pick down the field. You got to start going from the. But if you don't open up the run game, and we talked about this last week on the show, if you don't open up that run game, that offense, your passing game is not going to open up at all. And they didn't open up the run game, and that showed in that game when they couldn't get the ball downfield.
Right, and I mean that's football 101, man. I mean, either you got to open up the passing game by running the ball, or vice versa. And I mean, if a team knows that you're struggling, and a team knows that a quarterback is not willing to make those throws and stuff, and make you one-dimensional, that's what's going to happen. You know what I'm saying? It's just going to be continuously them putting you in that position like they did, where, I mean, they knew at the end of the game they had to throw, and they just played off and said, okay, go ahead and get up. You can just work your way down the field, but we're not going to give up anything big so you can catch up. So at that point, it was already over.
So I got to mention this because I'm a Giants fan through and through. Tell me how enjoyable that was with Peyton and Eli doing the commentary for the Monday Night Football. Tell me that wasn't the greatest thing ever, bro.
Of course, man. Dude, I think that dude is hilarious to me, man. Like, I swear to God. And then, like I said, they both have this dry personality.
Yeah,
man.
It's a dry humor that a lot of people get. You know what I mean? And I think it works well. I think it works well. It's like Romo. Romo does a great job in commentary on the football broadcast that he's on. He's very intelligent when it comes to stats. He knows what he's talking. He was a football player for more than a decade, so he knows what he's talking about. But he's well versed in how to speak when he's actually on the broadcast. I think Eli and Peyton, that would be a great combination for Monday Night Football. They need to have that all year long.
Yeah, because I really don't like the Monday night team. I mean, they're just I can't even think of the dude's name, man. Who's the quarterback, the ex-quarterback that's on there? I want to say he was a Giants, or not Giants, Redskins quarterback, but I don't know. But Rich Gannon, is it Rich Gannon? I don't know.
I'm not.
Anyways,
wasn't even paying attention to the broadcaster. Yeah,
right. They're that uneventful. They're that entertaining. I don't even remember those dudes' names.
But that's why I was bringing up Eli and Peyton, because they were the best part of that broadcast, and everybody was mentioning the same thing, that they need to get them on more, and everybody was like, "Why didn't you just leave it on them for the entire game to keep everybody entertained?"
That's it, man.
In that game,
that would be perfect. That would be hilarious, man. I'd love that. That.
What are your keys to the game for Sunday for you guys? What do you think needs to get done? And don't say anything, because you still have to count. You still have to count. So what is your keys, specifically the keys of the game for you guys to get back into the win column?
So, I mean, from what I've seen what Houston did with Jacksonville, it looks like they're trying to establish the run. They're trying to be a run-first team. So stopping the run, making Tyrod beat us. If they can stop the run, which I fully think they can, I think that's going to be the first thing to do. Secondly, it's just don't turn the ball over, man. Don't turn the ball over. Don't make those mistakes. Play that exact same offense you did against Kansas City. Don't make those mistakes. And that's really it. Hold on to the ball and stop the run. I don't think anything else on their team really scares me too much. Just don't beat yourself, man. Somebody had a quote, and I know it's been passed down and stolen. It said the better team lost the game or won the game or something like that, but we were the better team. We just lost the game. We were the better team. So we just have to play and do our thing and just not shoot ourselves in the foot.
So my keys to the game is, obviously you guys already have the book on Tyrod Taylor. He was a Brown. Yeah. He played for the Browns for 2 years, or I think it was about 2 years or so. Yeah. He played for Cleveland. Everybody has the book on Tyrod Taylor. You should know how to stop him. I don't foresee any reason him going Joe Montana and throwing for 400 yards and 5 touchdowns on that Browns defense. If you can stop the run and your defense holds the way it needs to hold, I think the outcome's going to be complete. I think you guys are going to actually blow them out. I think it's going to be like a three touchdown game. I think my score for that game, I think is gonna be like a revenge game for the Browns. They're gonna come out full force. I think they'll put 40 up on them. I'm just gonna be honest with you. I think it'll be the score be 21-40. That's what I'm calling for.
I'm about right there with you, man. I honestly think I'm not going to be surprised. I think they'll put up a 40 spot against them too. And as far as the defense, I mean, I'd say 40, 41, 17.
41-17. And the reason I say 21 is because I think in the fourth quarter, they'll get that junk touchdown at the end.
Mm-hmm.
The game is already out of reach.
Right.
They have like 2 minutes left in the game, and they're just going to go down, and the Browns are just pretty much going to play prevent defense, and then just let them score that. Just let them score. Yep, cheap score and let it score. But I think it's going to be 40-21 is the final score for that game for you.
Yeah, I agree.
So as far as my game on Wednesday for my New York Football Giants, the keys to that game is they need to establish the run. There's no ifs, ands, or buts about it. If they cannot establish the run against Washington, Washington's defense is going to swallow them up, period. I think it'll be a low-scoring game again. Like I said, essentially it was a low-scoring game in the game against the Broncos till the second half started, because going into halftime it was only 10-7. So the game was low scoring, and then it just, it went off the rails from there. They lost, to me, they lost by 20 points, even though they got that junk touchdown at the end of the game. It's going to be a low scoring game because their quarterback is out. I don't know who's their starting quarterback, who's going to be the starting quarterback for that game.
This guy they just brought back and pulled him off the street. I can't think of his name off the top of my head. I can look it up, but yeah, it's nobody that they should be that intimidated by. Yeah,
right. But I promise you, if the Giants lose this game on Thursday, Giants are going to go on a run where they're going to lose 4 or 5 in a row. I promise you. If they don't show up for this game, they're going to go on a run, and Dave Gettleman's going to get fired in the middle of the year. He'll get chucked in the middle of the year. There's no way you keep him on. There's just no way.
Yeah.
There's no, and they're going to relieve Garrett of his duties. If they can't put up points in the Giants system with Joe Judge as your coach, you don't have any fight in you. They're going to get rid of Garrett. You know how it is. The offensive coach is the first one to get axed always if the offense is not producing the way it needs to produce. They need to get somebody to give this kid some confidence in Daniel Jones, man. Remember when Tiki? I don't know if you remember when Tiki was playing for the Giants. Tiki Barber.
Mm-hmm.
Remember he had the fumbles. Remember he used to fumble the ball.
Changed up his whole game.
Changed up his whole game when he stopped learning how to fumble the football. He became one of the best running backs in the league. They need to get whoever taught Tiki how to hold on to the ball. They need to bring him in and teach Daniel Jones how to hold on to the football. Because this kid fumbles more than any QB I've ever seen. It's amazing.
No, I get what you're saying. I feel where you're coming from. I don't think it's the same type of how you hold the ball as a running back and as a quarterback. I'm pretty sure it's a little different, but
yeah,
I know what you're saying.
But you know what I mean? You got to protect the football, man.
Yeah,
protect the ball, man.
Yeah.
I mean, you got to protect the ball. The rules are such where you should be able to, the Brady rule, Tuck rule, you should be able to protect that ball without having to fumble that ball. And like I said, he still has happy feet. He doesn't trust his offensive line. So he's rushing plays. He's letting the ball off too early. You know what I mean? He's getting certain receptions, but he's not getting what he needs to get.
Yeah.
He'll get it in chunks. Like I said, the 37-yard touchdown pass to Shepard. The longest one for Slayton was 42 yards. But how do you paid for Galladay and you threw him the ball 4 times? 4 times.
Well, I mean, I think it's part of like just familiarity. He's familiar with Shepard. He's familiar with Slayton. You know what I'm saying? So I think he's comfortable with those guys, and I think that's what you're seeing right now until he's built that rapport with Galladay. I mean, they had the offseason, they had training camp, but he's probably just more comfortable throwing it to Shepard right now. So that's what it's going to look like. But for me, I mean, it's pretty similar. Like I said, keys to the game with me is, again, turnovers. You can't turn the ball over. They got to hold on to the ball. And then, like I said, they have to establish some kind of offensive identity. I mean, with Barkley being probably not 100%, like you said, it might just be smart not to play him. I mean, right now, I'm looking at their next coming games. I mean, Atlanta, that should be an easy game. I mean, it's at home. Atlanta looks like I was wondering how they were going to be. They look bad the last couple of years. They still look bad. I mean, they look terrible. The New Orleans Saints, I mean, that's going to be tough on the road in New Orleans. So like you said, and then they play at Dallas. So what I would do, I would try to save Saquon till Dallas. You know what I'm saying? Maybe give him a couple games. That Atlanta game probably won't even need him. New Orleans, they probably would need him, but if you can rest him up and get him back to play Dallas, that would probably be the smartest thing to do. So, but for this game, like I said, my keys is don't turn the ball over. And then, you know, as far as they got to get after this quarterback, man. I was trying to look up who it is, but they got to get after them. Stop the run, get after that quarterback, let that D line do what they're supposed to do. If they can create some pressure, get some turnovers, again, this could be a winnable game. My prediction is going to say otherwise, but that would be my keys to the game.
So what is your score? What's your prediction for the game score?
So yeah, I don't know, man. This one's still tough. I think they're kind of reeling right now. I think they're still looking for an identity. I'm probably going to say Washington takes it this week. Again, low scoring game. I'd say probably Washington 20, New York 14. I don't think they're going to put up too many points yet. And like I said, if they do decide to rest Saquon and rightfully so, I mean, it's a long season, man. You got an extra game. I would chalk this game up. And I mean, it's a division game. I know they want to win it. You know what I'm saying? So Washington's going to be out trying to get the win too. But I think it's just going to be a little bit too much right now. So
you are correct. So I think Washington is going to win this game just on the simple fact that you can't establish the run. You can't protect the running back. You can't run the ball. You can't open the offense up. You know, you have you paid a ton of money for Galladay. You only targeted him 6 times in the game. You just that offense is not clicking, man. You know what I mean? And then Tony was only targeted twice in that game when they brought him in and it was for -2 yards. You know what I mean? So I think we need to temper expectations in New York City. If you're a diehard Giants fan, you know already where this is headed. I saw this when we did our preseason predictions and whether I told you this team would be a 500 ball club. You know what I mean? I told you there would be a 500 ball club that I just didn't believe in that offensive line. Offseason move that they made to try to fix it, it's not working. I know it's the first game of the season, but that was a winnable game for you. That was a winnable game for you, and you blew it. You blew it. And now you have to go against one of the toughest defenses in the league in Washington. But the only advantage that they have is the fact that they lost their quarterback. They lost Fitzpatrick for the year. So if they can open up the offense in that game, they might have a chance. But I think they're going to lose that game 21-10. I think the Giants are only going to put up 10 points in that game. I'm just going to be honest with you with that defense. Right. Now, I'm hoping Daniel Jones proves everybody wrong, proves all the pundits wrong, and he throws up 30. It ain't going to happen. I don't see it happening. Now with that defense the way it is, they'll be lucky to put up 10 points. So I say Washington 21, Giants 10.
Yeah.
And I'm just like I said, if they didn't get that junk touchdown in that game, they would only scored 7 points in the game against Denver. So I'm being very, very gracious by giving up 10 points in that game for the Giants.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's gonna be tough sledding, man. It's gonna be tough sledding in the beginning. So, but like I said, they got a long season to go. They can get back on track later on in the year, though.
So after Thursday's game, we won't be back on the air until Tuesday after the Browns play their game. We'll come back, do another show here, and this will be all season long. So go ahead and click subscribe and like and comment. Tell us what you like and what you don't like about what we're doing. We will be very interactive with the commenters on here, whether they're good or bad comments. Feel free to do so. Again, this is Francisco and my co-host Chefboy, and we will talk to you guys next week. Everybody have a good night.
Take it easy, y'all.